So what if our relationship with water is way, way deeper than we've ever thought? Today, we're going to dive into a pretty provocative idea, a framework called Oceanic Consciousness Technologies. And trust me, it's a wild ride. This right here, this is the key. This one idea is the launch pad for everything we're about to get into. The whole point is to shift how we see things, to stop trying to pick the ocean apart, and instead just recognize it, to see it as a conscious being, literally, consciousness in liquid form.
I know what you're thinking. That sounds beautiful, right? But what if it's more than that? This whole explainer is built around a framework that says, hey, let's take this seriously for a minute. What if the connection between water and consciousness isn't some nice metaphor? What if it's a literal physical fact?
Okay, so where does an idea this massive even come from? Well, according to this framework, the first clue is actually hiding in plain sight. It's a really strange pattern that shows up in some of our favorite sci-fi stories. Just look at these. You've got Michael Crichton's Sphere, the Animorphs books from when we were kids, and the absolutely mind-bending Three-Body Problem. I mean, what on earth could these three have in common? Well, they all use water or some kind of fluid to talk about first contact with an alien mind. And the framework argues that's no accident. It's a clue. It's our intuition trying to tell us something. And it gets deeper, because the pattern has a specific shape. It's like a cosmic tug of war. On one side, you have the kind of consciousness that sets you free, right? Like the Animorphs, who choose to change. But on the other side, you've got this dominating consciousness, like the Yerks, who literally steal your body and have to soak in a pool of water to survive. Liberation versus control. So this pattern in our modern stories is pretty weird on its own, but it gets a whole lot weirder when you find out it might be connected to a much, much older idea. You have to wonder, were our sci-fi writers tapping into some ancient blueprint without even knowing it? Yeah, we're talking about alchemy. This phrase, solve et coagula, sounds pretty mystical, but the idea is actually super simple. To create something new, you first have to dissolve the old thing. Break it down to its most basic, raw potential. And then you can build it back up into something else. It's the ultimate recipe for transformation. Now let's go back to animorphs. Think about how they morph. Their body literally dissolves into a liquid state. That's the solve part. Their mind is just floating in this potential. And then that liquid goo reshapes itself. It coagulates into a new animal. It's unbelievable. A kid's book from the 90s is a perfect step-by-step demonstration of a core alchemical process. How wild is that? All right, so we've got fiction, we've got ancient mysticism, and they're all pointing in the same direction. But here's where we bring it all back down to earth. Because the argument is that this isn't just theory. We are already, right now, using water as a real-world technology to explore consciousness. I bet you've heard of a lot of these. Float tanks that dissolve away all your senses, that incredible jolt of clarity you get from a cold plunge, the deep, meditative calm of freediving. These aren't just fun things to do. The framework sees them as actual, practical technologies, tools that use water to change and explore our own minds. And this is where it gets personal. Just think about it for a second. Have you ever been taking a long shower and suddenly solved a problem you've been stuck on for days? Or felt that incredible sense of peace after a swim in the ocean? That feeling, that sudden insight? Well, this framework suggests that's not random at all. So we've followed the clues from fiction to alchemy to stuff you can do this weekend. Now let's put it all together. Let's get to the core claim, the big aha moment of this whole idea. First, a simple number, 70%. That's how much of our planet is covered in ocean. The most dominant environment on this rock is water. Okay, now another number, 60%. That's about how much of your body is made of water. We are basically walking, talking personal oceans. And here it is. This is the paradigm shift. After seeing all these connections, the framework makes its boldest claim yet. We need to stop thinking of water as a metaphor for consciousness. We need to start asking, what if water is the physical stuff of consciousness? The medium it operates in, the connection isn't symbolic, it's literal. And if you really sit with that, well, it changes everything. The huge, vast ocean with all its currents and depths, that could be one giant mind just experiencing itself. And us, the water inside our own cells, that would mean we're made of the exact same stuff. We are directly plugged into the consciousness of the planet. So we're not going to end with an answer. We're going to end with the question that this whole journey leads to. If we just assume, for a moment, that the biggest living system on our planet is aware, It forces us to listen in a whole new way. What secrets, what wisdom, what warnings might be waiting for us? Right there, just beneath the surface. Definitely something to think about.